Very good.
So yeah.
Okay.
You there?
Yeah.
Just
I
trying.
think so.
Well, you need to kick your husband or your boyfriend. You need to kick him
My
out.
husband now, yeah.
Oh.
Don't sound too disappointed.
Yeah.
Well, there's days.
Yeah, one.
If it starts raining, I'm going to have to leave.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you're outside.
Just get a
But
poncho.
I'm in the middle of nowhere, so.
Wow.
Oh wow,
That's
that's lovely.
Isn't it? Wow. So I'm intrigued. So you started your profile, the picture of the chicks. So have you got lots of animals?
Yeah, well, we've got the farm. So I was trying to do. We've started a subscription thing where people can, a bit like you might have seen it on the news. The lady you can phone and speak to the donkeys.
Oh.
So we've got the same thing. You can phone and you can invite an animal to your meeting,
Oh wow!
like a pig or an alpaca or.
If I'd known about this before I left my old company, I would have given you a shout.
So we've got horses, sheep, alpacas, donkeys, and the chickens are they're the newest, they're the babies. So we did it that way, so you could invite baby chicks to your meeting.
That's so cute, isn't it? My boys would love that. Oh, so how is everyone doing? Is there any questions? Are you struggling with anything?
Who wants to go? Do you want to go first?
Go on, just in case your signal goes, baby chick.
I'm okay getting my steps in, but I think I'm struggling with food. I think it's just because I've been massively off any kind of plan since January, really. So now trying to stick to something that's really low in calories, although I know it's good for me, is kind of hard. I think just because I'm quite hungry and calories in whilst not doing as much fitness. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it sounded like a little bit of a robot, but I got something.
I promise next time it won't be so bad.
Wow, she's really hungry.
So, just tell me a little bit about yourself then. Did you track before January, or were you, what were you doing previously to the challenge?
So previously, obviously, before I had my accident, I was working with you sort of separately, but I'd also come from working from another personal trainer or from another coach, but she was my friend. Mm-hmm. She's done compact women, so I think she won Miss Scotland last year, and I think our friendship kind of divided how she helped me train towards my wedding. So I was drinking quite a lot of protein, and I was lifting really heavy weights, and I wasn't really eating so much. It was more sort of in the gym 5 to 6 days a week, but I kind of felt like I was getting really chunky.
Right.
And then when it came to my wedding, I'd lost quite a lot of weight on the scales, but in terms of my physique, I was quite chunky. So I think there wasn't the right kind of mix between the fitness and what I was eating.
Yeah, so
and then when
your scale weight dropped down, but you looked more.
Yeah, my mum said I looked like. My mum said head my wedding, which I wasn't kind of like on my mum, but and then come the other side, and it got to Christmas, and I had a peptic ulcer, and I just sort of a case of eating whatever I could, and then it got to January, and I had an accident, and then I just everything's just sort of fell apart, and all the weight that I sort of lost kind of went back on threefold, a bit like, if you've done a crash diet and you've been Slim and Wild or something, and then you've gone on to, just eat normally.
Sorry, Jade. We'll just welcome Jeanette.
Hi, Mum.
Hi, Jeanette.
Well
again.
Well done.
That's
I'm so proud of you coming on. So we were just
Keep it on you.
Yeah, keep it on there. We were just speaking to Jade about her journey.
So we got Jade.
Oh, she can't hear you. You need to press.
She can't hear us.
Oh yeah.
That was like me before.
Oh really? Any advice, anyone? She needs to. Yeah.
I think I had the top button. I think I pressed mute, so she needs to unmute it, perhaps.
Olivia,
Sorry?
have you used it before, Zoom?
Yes, yeah. So I think the top button mute, she needs to unmute it, I think. Probably.
Yeah, mute it. Just
going to give the house.
Yeah, we're just going to call her now. So, yeah, Jade, okay, so you had your accident, didn't you? And then you were back on track as best you could with your food.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think it's food that I struggle with. I'm married to a farmer, so he eats an awful lot of food anyway. And I suppose portion size, and then sort of weighing things out, and trying to work out how many calories. Obviously, using my fitness.
Yeah.
How to work out the calories and that sort of. I think I just find food in general kind of a terrifying. Terrifying sort of entity I'm not really good with, whereas I could just make it, run out of the door. I'd keep it in my bag when I was at the gym, and then when I'd finish the gym I'd eat a yogurt, and then I'd come out of the gym and then I'd go to work and I could sort of finish the day. So I'm basically just drinking protein shakes the whole time I was training before, not really kind of eating unless it was rice cakes with jam or not really proper food.
That might be why you found when it hasn't been consistent enough and you've basically had a bit of a liquid protein diet. If you were just turning to protein as a shake, they're, I always say they're like a convenient protein. So maybe you were just misguided slightly and just weren't informed completely of that.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
it
sounds like she's had so many of them. So obviously she's gone a bit of a liquid protein diet. That's why you put it back on so quickly.
So a shake is literally being a supplement. You literally supplement the food, the solid.
It's an addition.
Personally, I use it as a top up to hit my protein target for the day.
Yeah, I know when I started working with Michelle very briefly, it was you gave me lots of food, and I sort of blew me away just how much there was on the list to eat. And I was going to Tesco's and I was buying my shopping, and I was kind of, I don't know how I'm going to eat all this food.
Yeah.
And then trying to fit the food in, and then obviously I had my illness come Christmas, so I've just not really had a very good start. And then I think the worst is just kind of grown legs and arms, and I've ended up being a lot heavier than I anticipated being at the end of all the training I did last year. And it's just trying to find a foothold, I suppose, to get started again.
Yeah.
But no, I'm definitely getting my steps and things in, and I'm kind of in a way hoping that my work will invite me back to work, and I won't have got the sack.
Yeah. You won't. Don't worry.
Because I'm still waiting to find out what's happened. Redundancies. So.
Right. Yeah.
Can you still hear me?
No, that's the whole point why I've done this for at least the duration of 3 weeks, so it can tie people over. They get something under the belt and start being motivated to do something. And then they can hit the ground running when they start work again, and the furlough's ended. You can feel a lot better about themselves.
Well, I've certainly tried to maximise on the information I've gathered from other people in the group so far, and certainly getting my steps in every day, and just to use my fitness pal to sort of measure my calories. It's interesting to see what I can eat for so many.
But with regards to hitting steps, I know that it's really hard to hit 10,000-12,000 mark every single day. So what my former coach and what Michelle's current coach has said is, if you need to hit 10,000 every day, obviously the weekly target is 70. So if you hit 8,000 one day, then you can, if you hit 12, the grand total is your target or more. Happy days.
Yeah.
All right. So you can spread it over the week.
Yeah.
One
So
day
it's
you don't
it's
leave
no
house.
total of the week.
Yes, it's one day you don't leave house. Hit 20,000 the next day.
Yeah, I try to do at least 10,000 a day.
Yeah.
Depends on how busy I am at work, and then try and get a couple of runs in the week.
Really
I
good.
think for me, it's last year I decided. The last 10 years I've been going to the gym and doing different things. Went to CrossFit for a bit, and then last year I decided I would get a coach because I was really always interested in the bikini body look. I think it's amazing. I've been following you, Michelle, for a while,
Oh,
and
What about me?
so it was like,
Excuse me,
what?
what about me?
No, just recently. Sorry.
Love it.
So last year, I was like, well, why don't I just try it for a while? So I got a coach, but I didn't really get that much out of it, to be honest. I mean, I did lose weight, I did tone up, but I was kind of embarrassed to ask questions, maybe because it was a man, I'm not quite sure. But I did it for like 3 months, and then I find like at work, it's especially over COVID and stuff, because I work in the NHS, you just
Wow.
there was loads of free food and all, just all naughtiness. So
Well, it's awesome
love
that
it.
you've taken the decision, to want to obviously become an athlete. Whether you took that from me is absolutely, it's an honour that you've done that. So is it something that you want to do in the future?
I mean, it does take real discipline, but whether I have that discipline or not,
Try.
I don't know. But
Gets out of bed and she's done. Not disciplined, this one.
Oh God, she knows what to go through because you follow me, don't you?
yeah. I mean, and I mean, I do like my alcohol, and I know that would have to also disappear.
Yeah,
I love my.
So does she.
Yeah. No, well, obviously I can't say give you the feedback because I haven't seen your physique, but I'm sure I always use the saying, anything's impossible if you want it to be. You've just got to work towards it, and if that's where you take yourself, I'm quite happy to help you and support you going down that road. May I ask, was your coach male? Did you say?
Yeah, it was male, yeah.
Right, okay. So how did that go? What was your experience with the coach?
Yeah, well, there wasn't. I mean, at the beginning there was like loads of communication, but unless then I communicated with him, it was just kind of one-sided, and every week I'd send my measurements in, but I got just all got a bit samey after a while.
Right.
And I wasn't quite sure how to use him, and use.
What was your initial goal? Was it to get on stage? Was your goal?
Oh no! It was just it was after Christmas. I had put on loads of weight, and I just wanted to kind of get rid of that.
Right.
But I was hammering the gym like 5-6 times a week, so I had seen some improvements for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But then that kind of fizzled out, and I didn't put the weight back on, but I kept on with the gym. But
it does give you the motivation.
It's accountability.
Yeah.
Jinx, touch wood.
But no,
it does. It keeps you on track. Keeps you on your toes. Generally, but it sounds like it was one-sided, and the responses were quite detailed at the start, and then they started to dwindle.
Yeah. And I mean, it might have been me, not communicating with him, but I didn't know how to use,
Was it online? Was it an online coach, or was it?
Yeah, it was all online. Yeah.
Well, to be honest with you, in my experience, and obviously just what the services that I give, you shouldn't feel like that. You shouldn't feel like it was you. So the communication should always be there. Really, you should be fully informed on your weekly check-ins, what the goal is for that week. So what is the plan? So you should never feel lost when you've got a mentor, which effectively is your coach, and he or she holds the umbrella over you, and everything is sorted out, and you should just go and be the little robot and go and do what you need to do. That is the way it works, really. Would you agree, Sam?
Yeah, they're like the map to the end goal.
Yeah.
So they guide you there. So if you're at the starting point, the end goal's there. It's never straight. So they literally guide you, meander through all the there. all the hurdles, so you go up and over.
Yeah, and if it was something that you wanted to do and you've been thinking about it, please don't be put off by competing. It is a really awesome thing to do. If you've got, if you've got what it takes to, not just physique wise, but confidence wise, and what it gives the female, it's such a great thing to do as well, isn't it? Like, you feel great doing it, and not only that, it gives you something to focus for. I mean, it
could be a holiday, it could be an occasion, it could be like, people for the wedding, like Jade was saying before, that
she was struggling
going for that with the former coach, like holidays.
It gives me
you've got a target.
Focus.
It gets you. It's basically having that focus is a kick up the arse, and it makes you, get out of bed, do your morning steps. Yeah, that's when you have to do them. It's just a driving force for it, because if you don't have a goal, like I don't have a goal at the moment, and I'm quite so that's why I've signed up to this 21-day shape up, which I'm not doing particularly well in, because my scale rate is going up and up and up. I'm hitting everything, but I was 199, I'm 202. I'm like,
I know.
How are you trying to shake me up here?
I know, it just seems to be staying the same.
But that's just me, because my body was in a deficit for 18 months non-stop. Not much for that. She saw what I was like. She actually saw me. I actually snapped at my mum for the first time at the time 29 years, when I was about a week or two out.
Because she's a feeder, she feeds us.
She saw me eating, she was like, "What is that?" I was like, "Leave me alone." So it is hard, but I think because that's why my body is it's still in recovery, it's still in like repairing itself and holding on to stuff, but it's doing me, like, for my mental well-being, it's good to have the accountability. It's getting you up in the morning, getting back into my routine. And
so how long would you spend, like, training and being in that physique, or training towards a goal?
In a female,
being in a deficit.
Female or male? Female. So I'll be honest, it's very individual.
It depends on
the show. It depends on. Jade's going to try and come back. It completely depends on what basically, if you were looking to compete, I look all the basics. If you're looking to compete, then we would just break it down in literally blocks. So you would work it in reverse order. That is the best way. Best coaches work in reverse order. So say, like, you wanted to, we had a penciled in show for March next year. So we don't need to talk about this year because it isn't great. The federations, there's nothing promising at the minute, and I wouldn't work.
I mean, they have announced.
They have announced it,
10 weeks time, 12 weeks time, but it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, I wouldn't ask the beginners to start at the minute. So it'd be next year. So, for example, if it was March, we would then look at your physique and we'd break it down to see what mature muscle we've got and what category you fit in, basically.
Would you advise a recon or not?
Well, it depends. That's what I mean. It's individual, so it depends on the physique. So
in recon, you pull off a bit of fat and you can see where
we've got.
They're working. You go, you have decent muscle, or it could be, you need to work on this. So March 8, or it could be we need to further in.
It's a starting point. So if we've got a starting point, the way I always look at it, the sooner the better. If you're aiming towards a show, you're on prep from the minute you say you want to compete, because you're either off season working on your physique and your developments for the on season. So so I always say, as athletes, we're 24/7 all the time, because we're either gunning for new improvement gains in the gym. So our calories are obviously higher, but we're in a surplus. We're in a surplus of calories. In terms of the deficit, that will totally depend on the individual. So is this, the coaches work completely differently than others, but I never say it's a 12-week cut, because it's just so clouded. Well, to say
could be a rule of thumb.
To say 12 weeks is just a bit unfair, because every single prep is always different, even to the individual. Sam will tell you that. My prep is different every single time. My last one was 25 weeks. So, it is completely dependent. What show you're going for, what federation you're dancing for, I call it, and what our starting point is. So if we've got mature muscle already and we can see it, because, you need someone who's got a good eye, a good coach to see that, and then it'll just break it down. If you either need a mini comp, and that means that we slightly pull away from calories to see what's under there. So we just remove a bit of, as we say, a bit of the fat blanket, get it off a bit, so we can actually see what's under there. And then what happens is we start building up in blocks. So If we need to go back into off season to put calories up because you haven't got enough mature muscle, I'm just dead honest to my clients. I'll say, we're not ready. I won't put you up there. We need another 6 months and you need to build muscle.
Like for me, when I did my comeback show in 2019, I hadn't competed since April. It was June 19. I hadn't competed since April 17. Shoulder injuries, and because of my shoulder injuries, I couldn't train properly to build muscle. So I wasn't in too much of a surplus. I was just in maintenance calories, so I wasn't able to build a substantial amount of muscle to be huge. Yeah. Sorry to say that, Mum. I want to be massive. So when I signed up with my coach, we did very slow competition prep from I signed up in November through to the show, like I say, was in June. So I was in a deficit from then right the way through, but it was a very slow process. So I didn't sacrifice muscle. Yeah. I maintained as much size as I could. But if I'm planning on competing next year, so now that the gym's going to reopen, Michelle's going to put my calories up. She's the boss. She's going to put my calories up, put everything up so I can build a little bit, get my strength back, put some size back on.
That's the plan.
Then we'll look at we'll see where we are at the time, close to the time. But it could be right. That's brilliant. We can do 8 weeks intense cuts, so it's just going to be slam to the pedal to the metal, carbs, fats, etc. Everything comes down, whatever she needs to do.
I mean, how difficult is it to be in a deficit for so long? It's quite.
I was in for 11 months. I was in a deficit for 11 months from November when I signed up, finishing the season in October. And by then, I was at an all-time low. I pulled up a hell of a lot of strain.
Yeah, but it's more male.
I was in.
You're a male.
Stop nodding, Mum. Jog on.
So don't. That's why I think it's really individual.
That's horrible.
It's individual in the sex, whether you're a male or female, and what the starting point is. So it doesn't have to be that crazy. So if I start off with a female athlete that's going to not competed before, we've got no previous data, I'm going in trying to learn about your physique and you're learning about yourself, then we go in a little bit, we go in with a plan, but we're going in blind. So we have to work very closely together week by week. So that's what we would do. So I always start off on the highest calories and then slowly chip away. So I would never go straight away. That's it. You're on these low calories. We then look at what we achieve week by week.
It's all about how your body responds. You don't. If you start high, if you have food high, and that becomes your maintenance. Because everybody's metabolism is so different. So if I started working with you, I'd have to establish where your metabolism is, and Jade will tell you that. That's why she would chuck the load of food at it, because her metabolism wasn't working properly. So we needed to kickstart her metabolism. Then she started seeing results because she lived on such a deficit for so long, with her wedding, her injuries, and her mental health as well, through drugs, as in, the medication she had to take to get herself well. Her body was completely in a chemical, imbalance. And especially in a female, the hormone wasn't working for Jade. So what I had to do is I had to repair her through nutrition. So my plan was a fat quite high. I was bringing in energy with carbohydrates, and I was making sure that she was fully fueled with protein. Because what I didn't want her to do was, what she rightly said, that she felt like she looked larger rather than smaller, and it was purely because of nutrition, because she hadn't been. I hope you don't mind me saying this, Jay, but you wasn't guided, given the right guidance in terms of nutrition. I'm proper geek when it comes to nutrition, so I work a lot around the nutrition. But I would say as well, though, from a male's side of things, it is completely gender specific. For me, the condition I need to be in is completely different than what a female competitor is. In a bikini one, it's a little bit softer than your toned or female bodybuilding kind of figure athletes, where they're a bit more muscle on them. So that's where
it's more important for us to hold. Well, it's the same really. It's more important for us to hold on to protein no matter what, as in for your muscle shape, because what some people don't realise is protein repairs cells. So what it was doing for Jade was it was repairing her medically. You know, whatever was going on inside it was clearing it. It was basically the like little carriers going into your white blood cells and the blood. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah. So it's used for all different things, and then you get your shape. It gives you a physique. It gives you the shape, the protein. So people.
I definitely, from my perspective, when I was doing it, I definitely had a shape, and I saw huge differences from when I started, which would be over a year ago now, probably 18 months ago. And then obviously 12 months in before my wedding, I was rigorous. I was training, and I was really hard on myself, and it was a struggle. And I did see results, but I didn't see them right until the very end. And it was, now I can look back on how I looked, 12 months ago and go, oh, actually I looked completely different to when I'd started 12 months prior to that. So I mean, for me it was a 2-year process before I got anywhere for my wedding. But then all the work I'd put in over the 18 months in the lead up to my wedding ended up being just a complete crash and burn come the other side of it, because we didn't fall out as friends, but she obviously continued on her path to compete. And in the last lead up to when I probably needed more assistance, she was more focused on her own plan, and that's absolutely fine. But I needed her in those final stages, and she wasn't there, and that's kind of when I started looking at Michelle.
Yeah, well, to be honest with you, Jade, that sounds to me like, at the level of her knowledge and experience, she hasn't got that for you, and it sounds like she just lacks slightly in that. She may well be completely different now, but some are experiencing different things. Like, it maybe if she just reached out to you and said, Jade, I don't know how to handle it. Like, if I don't know something, I will always ask. I always ask above. I've got them connections, and I'll always ask, because I learn something new every day. You've got to be open. I'll say to my clients, you know what, I actually don't know that, but I'm going to come and find out for you, and then I'll get back to them. And it is this true saying, know your stuff and don't bluff. But it sounds like, do you know what I mean?
I think in the final stages, I really needed somebody to be there for me, to back me and tell me where I was going wrong and where I needed to be right. But I didn't have that, so I was sort of training myself, and that's where I started to go downhill. Yeah. And then obviously I came October, I'd met you, and we were sort of just starting to work together. And then mid-November, I was really poorly. So we're 12 months on.
And then Jade sent me a picture. I was in the barber's getting the boys' haircut. A picture came through on WhatsApp, and I'll tell you what, my heart just dropped. He sent me a picture of her lying there in the bed, in the hospital bed, all strapped up and everything. And I went, oh my God, Max. And he was like, what, Mum? And I went, oh my God, my client Jade, she's just, and it was horrible, because obviously she lives so far away. I would literally just drive to anyone that is, I'm connected to, that needed me. And I was like, I just want to be there with her next to her in the bed.
She did actually offer to drive up to see me, and I was like, it's a really long way, but thank you.
Have you completely recovered now, Jade?
Yeah, I unfortunately I wasn't. I didn't get very far with the NHS, but I went privately, and I kind of got the help that I needed. So I'm back, and I'm raring to start again. But it was a pretty shitty ordeal. Pardon my language. It was a really hard time, and I'm very lucky to be here. Yeah, so I appreciate a lot of things.
Yeah.
And Michelle was wonderful the whole time, supporting me prior to that, and then trying to mentally coach me through the other side.
Nice that you've got that experience and you've got someone there to reach out and help, because you just need that sometimes, don't we? Us females.
Yeah. I think sometimes you feel completely on your own, even though you could be surrounded by people.
I remember leaving her voice messages when she was in hospital. She couldn't move because she was obviously spinal, and just going like this on the voice, leaving me that message, and I'm like, she must have just had me on the speaker. It was so sweet. Yeah, you okay? Yeah, go on, Mum. You got any questions?
So we've got 7 minutes.
We've got 7 minutes, yeah.
Let's ask you another time.
No.
But
Introduce yourself.
when you use the MyFitnessPals, this
Yeah.
might sound,
No, great.
But-
Go on.
do you have access to that?
Do
Or
I?
is that just
That is your private profile with your own account details. However, everybody can share it with me if they want to. So I can, if you just give me your details, and if you're asking me to look into yours, I can log on.
Same applies to everyone.
on the other one, on yours, with the pink?
My PT Hub.
Can't work out how to do it. So you'll do that when you come round.
I'll do it for you.
So my PT Hub, I do have access to everybody's profile.
Yeah.
So when it's active, obviously I know who's been on. That's because I'm your trainer on it, so I get access to that. But my PT Hub, my PT Pal, is that not the right? My Fitness Pal. I've just made my own app up. That is completely private.
When I've been putting things like 2 tablespoons of, I don't know, lime cordial.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
That's precise.
Yeah, genius. I don't do that.
No. So can I put extra on my PT Hub? Can I put extra exercises on there, or
Yeah,
is not
your diary completely. Get it in and track what you're doing, and like you say, be accountable and just use that hub to your advantage while we've got it.
Yeah.
That'd be great to see. Yeah.
So how are you getting on?
Yeah.
More important,
Sorry.
not protein than anything else.
Sorry, repeat that.
You put your protein than anything
You're
else.
jumping out, Mum. Sorry.
You put your protein in.
Is that the most important thing?
It is the most important thing. Well done. Yeah. And go on.
If my protein being short, I've just been having cottage cheese.
Right. Okay.
I hate that liquid, that stuff. That's
Protein.
way.
It's fine as long as you hit your target and you're in with your calories. When you're in a calorie deficit, it's about just don't go over your calories. Obviously, we have to hit macros like your protein targets, your fat, and you would aim to beat all 3 of them. But if you were to have like slightly more fat because your food choice,
So
just
for a
stay
steak rather
within
than a chicken.
just stay within underneath your calories, and that's completely fine.
Would you do you have like a set time to have your meals? Like do you eat breakfast an hour after getting up, or would it just be whenever?
No, I don't know.
She sometimes fasts until 4 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
She's working away. She's like, oh, I've not eaten yet.
I'm not rude to it. It's just that I'm so used to it because I've spent 4 years on a prep. Like I'm just so used to fasting as long as I can because obviously being on little calories, I try and drag it out as much as I can.
Okay.
And then my metabolism is just used to starting from like lunchtime. So, I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of intermittent fasting, and I'm not going to lie, I don't really know that much about this new fasting thing that recently just come out, but I only know it through, my own experience. What I call fasting is you break fast when you break your food, and then you haven't got like a 2-hour window where you eat all your calories and then you fast.
Yeah.
Talking about that, that is a completely different subject. But so no, I don't have a set time. However, I do obviously have to work with a lot of people where I have to organise them. So most of my nutrition plans will be pretty scheduled, and the reason why I do that is because I'm trying to teach and educate that it is good to eat, little and more often. So you've got the clock as a whole. As soon as you wake up, the quicker you put protein into your body. You've been asleep, on average 8 hours. So the body hasn't been fueled for 8 hours. So it's really important that
it's more than that, isn't it? Because your last meal could have been, say,
so it could have been
7, 8 o'clock. So it could be
7 o'clock.
Yeah.
So that's why it's really relevant, and I don't know why, to be honest, that the English breakfast is cereal, because cereals are just carbs.
English breakfast.
It's the
Cereal
English.
to me.
Yeah.
Full English breakfast.
You know, there's a saying,
Yeah.
have breakfast like a king. What is it? Have
Yeah.
breakfast like a king.
Breakfast champions.
Eat like something at lunch. Don't remember, but they say that, you know, obviously we eat protein in the morning, and then it goes the same. But if you think about every meal that you have, you've got a portion of everything on your plate. You know, your carbs, your protein, and your fats, and then you can't go wrong because they are the three essentials. Like, you know, that you need, basically. So every 2.5 to 3 hours, what I recommend that you schedule your meals or your snacks as well. That would be the best time for you to get your metabolism ticking over nicely. So that's why I always
portions, couldn't you?
Yeah.
So if you have 3 meals, you can do half portions. You get 6 meals if you're just grazing. So it stops your satiety nice and high. So you don't fast for say 4 hours and you think, oh, biscuit jars there. It just keeps you ticking over.
Yeah, your protein synthesis. Can't say the word. Protein synthesis. So when you do that, you're literally feeding the body slowly with the three essentials. And it is the same how an engine works. You're just feeding it fuel throughout the day rather than making it run dry.
What would you recommend to get your carbohydrate up without adding additional fats and protein when you've already reached your calories?
Cereals.
Yeah,
You can have it dry. Dry cereals.
Grains.
Yeah.
Oats has protein in it.
Protein and fat. So cereals are probably a quick fix, aren't they?
Cocoa Pops.
Yeah, Cocoa Pops. I've just had some shreddies actually.
But not chocolate flavour.
Hey?
Not the chocolate flavour. Not the chocolate flavour.
You're getting me. No.
Rice Krispies then.
Rice Krispies are awesome. They're nice and light as well. So yeah, things like that. Or cereal bars, they're really good. They're just a quick fix. Rice cakes, you don't really need to go that crazy really on board.
Flavoured rice cakes. Don't be boring. Get salt and vinegar though. Salt and vinegar. Well, hit the spot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cereal's probably your best, isn't it? Unless you want to eat a bag of rice. Just say it.
Not